If it was something that you had to develop cognitively, like I've got to intentionally do this, or is it something that may have become natural to imitate because you were kind of raised that way? I want to get your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I think I lean that way anyway, right? I'm a behavioral health clinician by training. I still hold on to my licensure, although it's more than a little rusty probably. But I do think I lean towards that. But I do try and be intentional about it. I want to make sure that I do it. I want to, and even simple times, like some of the most brief but impactful conversations happen in elevators, right? And so when I get on an elevator, I try and put my cell phone away because somebody's going to get on that elevator, or maybe I'm walking onto an elevator when one of my team members is already there. And it's a great opportunity to check in with somebody, see how they're doing. Sometimes you can tell, and I've had some pretty intense conversations in the 10 seconds, 15, 20 seconds it takes to get downstairs, to the point that people will even follow up with me and say, hey, thanks for asking about that on the elevator, or hey, I mentioned this on the elevator and here's what happened with that. And so, I try and take small things that I can do that make myself more available and be intentional. If I'm walking through the hall, you rarely ever see me with my cell phone out and in front of me because I want to be able to greet employees and talk to people and say hi to folks as we're going around.
That's a key building block. I love it. So even the 15 seconds or so that you're on the elevator, you're consciously putting it on away, so you're not on your phone, you're able to connect with the person. It makes so much sense.
Absolutely. Very seldom do employees see me with my cell phone out. I just don't do it. I try and be engaged and available and approachable. And even if it's not an intense conversation, sometimes it is, right? I mean, we've all been on the elevator and you step on and somebody is tearful on the elevator, right? And you're like, gosh, seems like something's going on, right? But even if that's not the case, just saying hello, how are you today? How was your weekend? How is your weekend? Do you have plans coming? Just the little small stuff that let people know that you see them as a person and are interested in them as a person.
Yeah. And I think sometimes leaders may underestimate those 15 or so seconds, how much of an impact they can be on that other person. Mm-hmm. You may have several conversations a day, but they only have that one conversation with their leader or the leader in their organization. Mm-hmm. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. And it may be the only interaction they have with me for some time, right? I'm not, as big as we are, and as much as I would love to connect with everyone every day, it doesn't happen. And so, it may be that we're just timed right on that elevator, or we're walking out to the parking garage together, and that may be the only time this week, or even over for a few weeks. And so, being engaged and recognizing them and acknowledging them and asking about them, I think is important.
Okay, so let's talk about, that's great points. Let's talk about like your day-to-day interactions in terms of from your desk, you're on Zoom meetings, you're having these meetings. What are some intentional ways you're taking Robert's example there and infusing it in terms of building rapport in those other situations? So
one of the things that is one of my favorite tools, and I borrowed it from someone else, it's not original to me, okay. Is I do short 2-3 minute videos. To employees, and I do it as though I'm speaking to them because I really am. And I tell people it's one of my employees, when they give me feedback, it's one of the things that they like best in terms of our approaches to communication. And I do it where I'm looking in the camera and I'm just talking to them. And honestly, I tell them I'm glad they like it because I would probably do it anyway because it helps me feel connected to them, right? We've got 2,600 employees almost spread across all of Harris County. So, 40-something locations that are out there, and some of those are small. I won't get to see some of those team members. Some of them work nights, or some of them are on different shifts. And so that video gets the highest comments in terms of it also, we can kind of track and see what percentage of things get opened. It has one of the highest open rates, and people engage with it and watch it. And it feels like I'm having a conversation with them. And it usually is around, I try and do a lot of kudos that way. I give a lot of shout outs to people, a lot of appreciation, and we're coming off of the hurricane and its impact here, and it had a big impact on our organization. And so I'm trying to give shout outs to people that went well above and beyond, and recognizing them and the challenges that came with it and honoring their work, and then giving them organizational updates. If we have a new program that's come up, or if we've got a new thing that we're about to get started, it really seems to be a quick way to help them have some awareness of it. Like I said, my experience is 2 to 3 minutes is about the attention span. So if it goes long, the only thing I can get away with going longer is if it's about compensation. If I'm talking about people's money, they'll hang in there for however long that video is. But if it gets too long, people have to check out, right? Because they're busy and they may have patients to take care of. So often the email will be accompanied by an attachment that has a lot of nuance and details and all the kind of HR speak in it and that sort of thing.
Right.
But my messages are short and crisp and kind of to the point. It's one of my favorite things to do.
That is powerful, and it also explains why you do so well on video. Whenever we've had recruiting videos with you, and you're natural. I mean,
Well,
but maybe that came from the practice.
I was probably not natural when I started, but like last week, right after the hurricane, I did 3 videos last week. I did one this morning. The other thing is I will only do one take. I don't,
Okay.
So I don't want it to be polished. I don't want it to be edited.
Okay.
When I first started off, I did it with my cell phone, and my communications team was like, "No, we'll send somebody." I'm like, "I don't want all that. Like, this is a conversation."
Okay.
And so they said, "Well, you've at least got to put it on a tripod," because apparently I was moving it around too much. So, but I did. Now I do it. We've all gotten so adept at Zoom, and it has such a nice structure. I just do it through my Zoom camera, but there's no editing to it. They cut out the couple of seconds where I'm looking for the button to push record and stop
Right.
it. But other than trimming the ends of it, I do it one take. If I mess up, I just say, sorry about that. Let me re-say that. And try and have it be as kind of real and authentic as I can.